I have travelled to every single major pavilion at Expo 2020. A major pavilion is a pavilion with a unique design. On top of that, I've also gone to some of the smaller pavilions. I have over 100 stamps in this Expo 2020 passport. So what I want to do is share some of my favourite pavilions. The Expo 2020 site is huge. So what I'm going to do is break down my favourite pavilions within each section, whether that's mobility, opportunity or sustainability, because you're probably going to spend more time in one section. Starting off with the opportunity area, one of the pavilions that really took me back was the Bahrain one. You have to enter through quite a unique manner. You have to go under a tunnel, and then as you go in, it's absolutely huge around the whole pavilion. The architecture is fascinating. So that was great. From there, you also have the Pakistan Pavilion that is directly next door. That one's brilliant because it gives you a real good feel of the culture, a real good feel of what it would be like to travel there, and really made me miss traveling. Switzerland Pavilion, the entry again into there is brilliant. They give you some sort of umbrella. The whole thing is mirrored, so it mirrors the design off the bottom. And then within the pavilion, you also have this really cool fog type walkway that you experience a really cool fog, and they also have some really great innovation down towards the bottom after you've walked through the fog too. After that then, you can also go to the China Pavilion. This one really is spectacular at night time. It really does come to life, and you can see the amazing lights on it. Within the pavilion, there are lots of different video shows. You might see a robot too, but there's not an awful lot inside that I was blown away with. From the opportunity area, you also go around towards a park. Around there are some fantastic pavilions. To start off with, you have the Saudi Arabia Pavilion that is huge. Again, amazing at day and at night. There are some amazing travel things in there and made me want to really travel there. At the end, there's like a huge mirrored globe type thing too. That was spectacular to see. Around that park area, you also have the Emirates Pavilion. This can be a bit of a challenge to get into because you need to book in advance. But when going there, you're given this like small ball, and from there you can then travel around, and the ball downloads information about your journey, and you can do loads of cool things around that pavilion too. I really like the interior design of that pavilion as well. The USA Pavilion was something I really kind of enjoyed. If you can get in there without too big of a queue, check it out. There's like a little people mover type thing that you stand on, and it sort of takes you around the pavilion, showing you some cool things from America. At the end of the pavilion too, you can stroke a rock. Now that doesn't sound too fascinating, but it is part of the moon, which is also cool. As you exit, you'll see the SpaceX rocket, and underneath there's a diner as well. From there are two pavilions that I really do think are massively underrated. DP World and Enoch. DP World is huge and really does educate you about Dubai's history. Along with that, it's amazing because at the end they have this patterned waterfall type thing, and then from there they also give you a free coffee. I'm going to make a video about money saving tips and free bits that you can get from Expo 2020. If I've made that, feel free to check that out up there. So from there, Enoch. Well, I was really taken back by Enoch. I didn't expect anything, to be honest, as I went into there. Enoch over here in Dubai is just a petrol station, so I thought, what am I going to see? There was loads of interactive activities that you can get involved with. Usually the queues are a little bit shorter because people think the same, but the whole interactive element of it was something that, as a big kid, I was taken back with and enjoyed. The Germany Pavilion, also known as Campus Germany, is located also within the Alphasan Park, and that is up there as one of my top 3 pavilions. The journey that you go through within that pavilion is absolutely fascinating. They've got a bunch of fun things to get involved with. Along with that, it's also really great for education. They have a ball pit, they have this swing thing at the end. You collect the name tag at the start, and then it tracks what you're doing through the pavilion, and then at the end it shares some of the information based on the choices that you make within the pavilion too. From there then you have the mobility section. This is the section that I checked out quite later on, but there's some brilliant things within it. To start off with, you have the central pavilion itself, a leaf. This can be, again, a little bit of a challenge to get into, so make sure you use the smart queue system. Within that pavilion, they have these huge travelers, like Ibn Battuta, for example. They have a huge Earth sphere, globe type thing. There's some amazing things within that pavilion. It's also really great to just go and learn about mobility around the world. Within the mobility area, you have a range of different things dotted around. I really enjoyed going to the Russian Pavilion. Not only is it amazing in day and night from the outside, the inside they have this kind of huge brain, and there's a couple of different shows including robotics, and it's really fascinating to learn about psychology within that pavilion too. Peru was fun. A bit like Pakistan, they didn't have lots of things to do and bits and pieces like that. However, it was really interesting to learn more about the culture. They did a really good job of sharing about the country and all of the things that you can expect if you were to visit. Also within the Mobility Pavilion, there was El Salvador. This is one of the smaller pavilions. However, you got free coffee at the end. There's a bit of a theme going on, but I really enjoyed what they did with the space that they had. It's quite a small pavilion, but they still maximized that space. On top of that, I really enjoyed the South Korean Pavilion. This is probably the best in terms of architecture and the externals. You go on a bit of a journey as you go around with lots of augmented reality through an app that they give you and a phone that they give you at the start, that of course you do return. You also have Jubilee Park. Now, there's a couple of different pavilions located around the sides of Jubilee Park. I really enjoyed the Philippines. Philippines was quite dark, but in that dark area, if it's quiet, it's nice and relaxing to be able to just wander around, see some of the things about the country. I really liked the dark and I appreciated the air conditioning too. Around Jubilee Park, you also have Hungary to the other side. This is brilliant in terms of fun activities, perhaps for the children. You have this huge ball pit towards the end of the pavilion where you can just completely relax and watch something that's a bit of a 360 show around the top too. Okay, sustainability. Within this area, you've got the main Terra Pavilion itself. Take this one slowly. There is so much that you can learn from this pavilion. I really enjoyed the little fair thing they had at the start, but there was also lots of amazing things to go and see about under the water. In terms of agriculture, there was loads to go and see within that pavilion. Located within the sustainability area, you also had lots of amazing pavilions too. To start off with, I really enjoyed Spain. It was really bright and colourful from the outside, and there was lots of cool things from the inside. They also had some amazing food too. I've heard great things about the tapas, but I had the paella, which was lovely. So from there, you can go down to the Netherlands. The Netherlands doesn't look like much from the outside, but the inside there is like this really cool show where you have an umbrella and the show is cast down onto the umbrella, and I was blown away by what that show included. Finally, we have the Singapore Pavilion. When we visited, there was no AC, and as a result, it was extremely hot, which put a downer on visiting the pavilion, but Singapore is quite a humid place when you visit it anyway, so I think they do a good job of representing what the country is like. The pavilion itself is probably the greenest out of the whole Expo 2020, so if you want some greenery, go and check out the Singapore Pavilion. Finally, there's two areas that you must also check out. The first is the waterfalls that's located around the Al Wasl area, the central area. You'll see that one dotted to the side by Jubilee Park. That's just amazing, both at day and at night. Great for children. I really enjoy the show that goes on there. The Al Wasl area is amazing at night as things start to get cast onto the inside. It's really quite spectacular. I cannot forget the UAE Pavilion. Of course, it is massive. It has two separate entries. I really enjoyed the sand area that is around there and the way that things are cast, information is cast onto the sand and you think, is this fake? And you touch it and you're like, that's actual sand. And then from there, they have a couple of great shows that tell you about the UAE too. So definitely go and check that one out. Check it out at the start because that one gets huge queues too. That brings me to the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Which pavilions do you think I missed out on? Which pavilions are your favorites if you visited? Hopefully you want to see other videos. If you do, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Click up here to go and see another video touring the Dubai Expo 2. And if you haven't, that there is to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, I'm out.